The diner was a comforting blend of warm colors and the hum of conversations, a haven of normalcy in my teenage life. I sat at a corner booth, tapping my fingers on the polished surface as I glanced at my watch. Clara was late again. It wasn't unusual, but today was different. I had been eagerly waiting to surprise her with a necklace I had saved up for over 3 months. It was her birthday in a week, and I wanted to make it special. I shifted in my seat, trying to keep my anxiety in check. I could picture her face lighting up when she saw the gift. Just as I was rehearsing how I would present it, I noticed the elderly couple at the table across from mine. Their age was unmistakable, with silver hair and hands that trembled slightly as they sifted through their wallets. The waitress, a woman in her mid-20s with a stern face, was standing nearby, her arms crossed. Her patience was wearing thin. I could hear her voice rising above the chatter. "I'm sorry, but you need to pay the bill now. We don't accept IOUs." The elderly man, his face flushed with embarrassment, looked at his wife with a pleading expression. "We thought we had enough, dear. We just need a little more time. We can come back tomorrow, I swear." The waitress huffed, her tone sharp. "I'm sorry, but that's not how it works. Either you pay now or you're not eating here anymore." My heart ached seeing their distress. It reminded me of my own grandparents, who had always been so dignified despite their modest means. I couldn't stand to see them treated like this. I stood up, my hands clammy with nerves, and walked over to their table. "Excuse me," I said, addressing the waitress. "How much is their bill?" She looked me up and down, her eyes skeptical. $45. I reached into my pocket, pulling out the cash I had saved for Clara's birthday gift. The money felt heavier than usual, the weight of my sacrifice pressing down on me. "Here," I said, handing her the bills. "This should cover it." The waitress took the money with a curt nod and walked away. The elderly couple looked up at me, their eyes brimming with tears. "You didn't have to do that," the woman said, her voice choked with emotion. I gave them a small, awkward smile. "It's no trouble at all. I just couldn't let you go through that." The man reached out a trembling hand and shook mine. "Thank you, young man. You've restored our faith in people." I nodded, feeling a mix of pride and discomfort. "It's really nothing." As I made my way back to my booth, Clara walked in, her face brightening when she saw me. She slid into the seat across from me, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek. "Sorry I'm late. Traffic was awful." "No problem," I said, trying to act nonchalant even though my heart was still racing from the encounter. I could see the waitress bringing our food, and I tried to shift the focus. Clara's gaze fell on the elderly couple as they left the diner, their faces still showing traces of relief and gratitude. She turned back to me, her eyebrows furrowing in confusion. "What was that about? Did they just leave without paying?" I sighed, my heart sinking as I realized this was not going to be an easy conversation. They were having trouble paying their bill. I covered it for them. Her eyes widened, and she blinked in disbelief. "You what?" I nodded, my hands resting on the table. I couldn't just let them be embarrassed like that. It felt like the right thing to do. Clara's face flushed with a mix of anger and embarrassment. "But you used the money you saved for my birthday gift. Do you realize how that makes me feel?" I tried to explain, my voice steady but my stomach churning. "Clara, I thought it was important to help them. I thought you'd understand." "Understand?" she snapped. "I don't understand why you would prioritize strangers over me. This is our money, Ben. You didn't even ask me." Her voice was rising, drawing the attention of nearby diners. I felt a flush of shame and frustration. I didn't think it would be such a big deal. I just wanted to do something good. Clara stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "I can't believe you'd make such a thoughtless decision. I'm leaving." I stood up, my heart breaking as I watched her walk toward the door. "Clara, wait. Can we talk about this?" But she didn't turn back. As the door swung shut behind her, I sat back down, feeling an emptiness that went beyond the missing gift. The decision I had made, though driven by genuine compassion, had come at a personal cost I hadn't fully anticipated. My act of kindness had created a rift between us, and as I stared at the untouched food on the table, I was left alone to contemplate the consequences of my choices. The days following the diner incident felt like an emotional whirlwind. Clara's angry words replayed in my mind, and I found myself caught in a cycle of regret and confusion. School days seemed endless, and I struggled to focus on anything other than the fallout from my decision. Each time I walked past the diner, I was reminded of that day. It wasn't just the money or the embarrassment, it was the fracture in my relationship with Clara. She had been my confidant and partner for almost a year, and now it felt like everything was falling apart. On the afternoon of our scheduled meeting at the park, I was anxious and uneasy. The park had always been our place, where we talked about our dreams and shared our laughter. It felt almost poetic that we would have this conversation here, but not in the way I had hoped. I arrived early and sat on our favorite bench beneath the sprawling oak tree, nervously shifting from one foot to the other. The park was quieter than usual, and the gentle rustle of leaves did little to calm my nerves. When Clara finally arrived, she walked towards me with a purposeful stride. Her face was a mask of determination, and I knew this conversation wouldn't be easy. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual, though my voice wavered. "Hi, Ben," Clara replied, her tone clipped. She sat down on the bench, a few inches away from me. The space between us felt like a chasm. I took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "I'm really sorry about what happened at the diner. I didn't mean to upset you." Clara's eyes narrowed. "It's not just about the diner, Ben. It's about how you didn't think about our future, our plans. You made a choice that affected us both, and you didn't even consult me." I ran a hand through my hair, feeling the weight of her words. "I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't realize it would cause this much trouble." "You should have realized," Clara said, her voice rising slightly. "You've been so focused on doing good deeds that you've lost sight of us. I feel like you've completely disregarded our relationship." I felt a pang of guilt. "I didn't mean to disregard us. I was just trying to help. Can't we find a way to make this work?" Clara shook her head, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I don't know, Ben. Maybe we're just not on the same page anymore. I'm tired of feeling like I'm not a priority." I reached out, my heart aching. "Please, Clara, don't say that. I care about you more than anything." She looked at me with a mixture of sadness and resolve. "I care about you too, but right now, it feels like we're heading in different directions. I think it's better if we take some time apart." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I tried to protest, but the look on her face told me that her decision was final. "Clara, please. I'm willing to work on this." Clara stood up, wiping a tear from her cheek. "I need space, Ben. We both do. I hope you understand." I watched as she walked away, her figure becoming smaller in the distance. The park, once a place of joy and connection, now felt like a backdrop to my sorrow. I sat there, staring at the empty space where she had been, trying to come to terms with the reality of our situation. When I finally made my way home, the house felt emptier than ever. My mom was still at work, and I found myself alone with my thoughts. I paced around, replaying our conversation, trying to understand how things had unraveled so quickly. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The act of kindness that had once filled me with pride now seemed to have cost me the most precious relationship in my life. The necklace I had bought for Clara lay in the drawer, a painful reminder of what had been lost. As the days turned into weeks, the absence of Clara was a constant ache. I focused on school and work, trying to distract myself from the emotional turmoil. I threw myself into my responsibilities, determined to prove to myself that I could move forward, even if it meant moving on from the person I had thought I would spend my life with. The breakup was a harsh lesson in the complexities of life and relationships. It taught me that doing the right thing sometimes comes with unexpected consequences. And as I navigated the aftermath, I began to understand that every choice we make shapes our path in ways we can't always foresee. The weeks following the breakup felt like a stormy sea, each day blending into the next with a gray monotony. I threw myself into work at the diner, trying to fill the void left by Clara's absence. The old routine felt both comforting and hollow, and I struggled to find solace in the familiar. One chilly afternoon, seeking a change of pace, I decided to revisit the diner where I had made that fateful decision. I had been avoiding it, but something inside me felt it was time to face it head-on. As I walked in, the bell above the door jingled, and the warmth of the place enveloped me. The waitress from that day was behind the counter, her face lighting up in recognition when she saw me. "Hey there," she said with a friendly smile. "You're the guy who helped that couple, right?" I nodded, my hands stuffed in my pockets. "Yeah, that's me." "Well, they've been coming in here a lot since then," she said, pouring a fresh cup of coffee. "They keep asking about you." My curiosity was piqued. "Really?" I had no idea. "They're pretty remarkable," she continued, setting the coffee in front of me. "They told me they wanted to find a way to thank you properly." Just then, the door opened, and the elderly couple from the diner walked in. Christine and Charlie, as I had learned their names to be, entered with a sense of purpose. Their eyes scanned the room until they spotted me. "Ben!" Christine called out, waving. "There you are." I stood up, feeling a mix of surprise and nervousness. "Hello again. It's good to see you." Charlie extended his hand. "Thanks for coming over. We wanted to talk to you." We sat down at a table, the warmth of the diner contrasting sharply with the chill of the day outside. Christine looked at me with a kind smile. "We've been meaning to thank you properly. Your gesture was incredibly kind and selfless." I shrugged, feeling a bit awkward. "It was nothing, really." Charlie shook his head. "No, it was something. It was a reflection of your character. We actually run a philanthropic organization, and your integrity impressed us." Christine leaned in. "We live simply to understand the struggles of others. Seeing your act of kindness made us realize how rare and valuable such selflessness is." I blinked, processing their words. "So, you're saying that you noticed because?" Charlie nodded. "Exactly. And we'd like to offer you an opportunity to work with us. We need people who genuinely care about making a difference." My eyes widened. "Are you serious?" Christine smiled warmly. "Absolutely. We believe that your compassion and integrity would be a great asset to our team." I sat back, overwhelmed. I don't even know what to say. This is incredible. But why me? I'm just a teenager who made a decision. Christine's eyes sparkled. "It's not just about what you did but about who you are. We see potential in you, Ben. And we believe in giving people like you a chance." Charlie added, "Think of it as a way to turn your good intentions into impactful actions. It's a chance to grow and make a difference." I felt a surge of excitement mixed with nervousness. I'd be honored to accept. I've been looking for a way to channel my desire to help others, and this seems like a perfect fit. Christine's smile broadened. "Wonderful. We'll get you started on some projects and see how you fit into our mission." As we talked further, they explained their organization's goals and initiatives. I listened intently, my mind racing with possibilities. The opportunity they were offering felt like a new beginning, a chance to rebuild my life with purpose and direction. After the meeting, as I walked home, I couldn't help but feel a sense of renewed hope. This unexpected turn of events had given me a new path to follow. It was as if the universe had conspired to guide me toward something greater, a way to turn my experiences and heartbreak into something meaningful. That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about how the loss of Clara had led me to this new opportunity. It was a harsh lesson in the unpredictability of life, but it also showed me that even the most painful experiences could lead to unexpected and positive outcomes. The journey ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I felt a spark of excitement about the future. My first day at Christine and Charlie's organization was a whirlwind of activity and new faces. Their office was a bustling hub of dedicated professionals working on various projects. The walls were lined with inspirational quotes and photos from community events. It was a sharp contrast to my previous life, and I couldn't wait to dive in. Christine greeted me with a warm smile as I entered the office. "Welcome, Ben. We're thrilled to have you on board." I returned her smile, trying to hide my nerves. "Thank you. I'm excited to get started. Christine led me through the office, introducing me to the team. Each person had a specific role, and their passion for their work was palpable. I was introduced to Sarah, the project manager, and Tom, the head of community outreach. Sarah shook my hand firmly. Ben, I've heard great things about you. We're starting a new initiative focused on improving education in underserved communities. I think you'll be a great fit. Tom nodded in agreement. It's a big project, but we've seen the impact of your character already. We're looking forward to seeing your contributions. I was assigned to work with Sarah on the education initiative. My role was to assist in planning and executing community workshops, developing educational materials, and engaging with local schools. It was challenging but invigorating. Each day presented new opportunities to learn and grow. One afternoon, as I was working on developing a workshop curriculum, Sarah came over to check on my progress. How's it going, Ben? Need any help? I looked up from my notes, slightly frazzled. I'm a bit stuck on how to make the content engaging for different age groups. Do you have any tips? Sarah smiled, sitting down beside me. Sure. The key is to tailor the material to their interests and needs. For younger students, use interactive activities and visuals. For older students, incorporate real-world applications and discussions. And always make sure to include elements that encourage participation. Her advice was practical and insightful. Thanks, Sarah. That makes a lot of sense. I'll adjust the materials accordingly. As the weeks passed, I threw myself into the project with dedication. I discovered a knack for organizing and presenting information in a way that resonated with the students. The workshops were well received, and feedback from the schools was positive. It felt incredibly rewarding to see students engaged and excited about learning. One day, as I was wrapping up a workshop, Tom approached me with a grin. Ben, I've heard great things about your work. The feedback from the community has been fantastic. Really? I asked, feeling a surge of pride. That's great to hear. I've been working hard on making the workshops as effective as possible. Tom nodded. Your efforts are paying off. We've got a new project coming up, and I think you'd be perfect for it. It involves creating a health education program and working with local clinics. I was thrilled by the opportunity. That sounds amazing. I'd love to be involved. Tom clapped me on the shoulder. I knew you'd be up for it. We'll discuss the details soon. In addition to my work at the organization, I also found ways to support my family. I helped my mom with household expenses, using some of my earnings to ease the financial burden she had been carrying. Seeing her relief was another source of fulfillment in my life. With the new health education program, I was tasked with developing materials on nutrition and preventive care. Working closely with local clinics and healthcare professionals, I learned a lot about public health and the importance of accessible information. The project was demanding but incredibly gratifying. One evening, after a particularly successful community health fair, I met with Christine and Charlie to discuss my progress. Christine looked at me with a proud smile. Ben, your work has been exceptional. We've received so much positive feedback about the health education program. I felt a wave of accomplishment. Thank you. It's been an incredible experience. I've learned so much and truly feel like I'm making a difference. Charlie nodded in agreement. You've grown a lot since you started. Your dedication and creativity are exactly what we hoped for. Keep up the great work. As I continued to develop professionally, I also began to focus on personal growth. I attended workshops on leadership and communication, and I sought out mentors within the organization to guide me. I became more confident in my abilities and developed a clearer vision for my future. Through the projects and interactions, I learned the value of persistence, teamwork, and empathy. My work wasn't just about completing tasks, it was about understanding the needs of the communities we served and making a meaningful impact. The journey from the diner to this point had been transformative. I had taken the pain of my breakup and channeled it into something positive, finding a new purpose and direction in life. The growth I experienced professionally and personally was profound, And it all stemmed from that single act of kindness and the unexpected opportunities that followed. Christine and Charlie's passing left a void that was both deeply personal and profoundly professional. The news came as a shock, and the grief was palpable across the organization. Their absence was a heavy weight, but their legacy was a beacon guiding us forward. A week after their passing, I found myself in their grand, sunlit office, staring at the empty chairs where they had once sat. It was surreal to think that I would be inheriting their estate and their mission. The enormity of the responsibility was beginning to sink in. Sarah, now the interim project manager, stopped by my office with a concerned look. "Ben, I know this is a difficult time. I wanted to check in and see how you're holding up." I looked up from the stack of documents, trying to muster a reassuring smile. "I'm managing. It's been a lot to take in, but I'm determined to honor their memory and continue their work." Sarah nodded, her eyes reflecting empathy. "Christine and Charlie believed in you. They saw potential, and so do we. If you ever need support or advice, I'm here." "Thank you, Sarah," I said, genuinely appreciative. "I might take you up on that. I want to make sure I'm doing right by their vision." In the weeks that followed, the process of transitioning into my new role was both overwhelming and exhilarating. Christine and Charlie had left behind not just their estate but a well-established network of supporters, projects, and dreams. It was up to me to keep the momentum going. One of the first major tasks was to rebrand the organization. I wanted to modernize our image while retaining the core values that Christine and Charlie had championed. The goal was to expand our reach and continue their mission with renewed vigor. As I sat in a meeting with the design team, discussing the new logo and branding materials, Amelia walked in. She had been a close collaborator on several projects and had become an integral part of the organization. "Hey, Ben," Amelia greeted me with a bright smile. "I've been hearing great things about the rebranding efforts. How's it going?" "It's going well," I said, gesturing to the sketches and mood boards laid out on the table. "We're trying to capture the essence of what Christine and Charlie built while also making it relevant for today's audience." Amelia nodded, studying the materials. "I think you're on the right track. The new logo has a fresh, modern feel, but it still reflects the spirit of the original design. It's a nice balance." We continued to discuss the rebranding, and I felt a sense of relief and encouragement. Amelia's support and insights were invaluable. As our conversations turned to other aspects of the organization, she shared her thoughts on expanding our initiatives. "I've been thinking," Amelia said thoughtfully, "about launching a mentorship program for young leaders. It could be a way to nurture new talent and continue the legacy Christine and Charlie started." I was intrigued. "That's a fantastic idea. It aligns perfectly with our mission. Let's develop a proposal and get it underway." In addition to the rebranding and new initiatives, I focused on several ongoing projects, including the health and education programs. I wanted to ensure they continued to thrive and grow, maintaining the high standards set by Christine and Charlie. One afternoon, I met with local community leaders to discuss expanding our educational outreach. We gathered in a modest conference room, the air filled with a mixture of hope and skepticism. "I'm excited about the possibility of working together," I began, addressing the group. "Our goal is to enhance educational opportunities and provide resources where they're needed most." A community leader named Mr. Patel raised a hand. "We've seen the impact of your programs in other areas. What can we expect from this new phase?" I smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. "We're planning to introduce new workshops, upgrade our educational materials, and partner with local schools to create more engaging learning experiences. We want to ensure that every student has the chance to succeed." The leaders responded positively, and we discussed details and logistics. As I left the meeting, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The projects were gaining momentum, and the support from the community was encouraging. The real test came when I was invited to speak at a large event honoring Christine and Charlie's legacy. It was a grand affair, attended by supporters, partners, and beneficiaries of our programs. As I stood on the stage, looking out at the audience, I reflected on the journey that had brought me here. Christine's daughter, Emily, who had been a silent supporter from the sidelines, approached me backstage before the speech. "Ben, I just wanted to say how proud I am of what you've accomplished. I know my parents would be thrilled." "Thank you, Emily," I said, feeling a lump in my throat. "I'm doing my best to honor their vision and continue their work." Emily gave me a reassuring smile. "I know you are. And I think they'd be very pleased with how you've carried on their legacy." As I took the stage, the weight of responsibility was clear, but so was the potential for impact. I spoke about the future of the organization, the new initiatives, and the importance of continuing to serve with integrity and compassion. The applause was heartfelt, and as I looked out at the faces of those we had helped and those we would continue to support, I felt a profound sense of purpose. Christine and Charlie's legacy was not just in the work we did but in the values we upheld and the lives we touched. In the end, it wasn't just about carrying on their mission, it was about leading with the same spirit of generosity and commitment that had defined their lives. The journey had come full circle, and I knew that the true legacy of Christine and Charlie was the belief that even the smallest act of kindness could create ripples of positive change. As the event concluded, Amelia joined me, and we walked out together, ready to tackle the challenges and opportunities ahead. With each step, I felt a renewed sense of determination to make a difference, honoring the past while shaping a brighter future. If you like this story, please subscribe, like, click the bell, and leave a comment. Thank you in advance.